I wanted to throw this out about the issue of Secret Service protection, because it seems clear that the Democratic Party, in particular in this case, probably the Republicans too, do not want to give Bobby the legitimacy of his candidacy. It seems to me that is, I mean, if we really get down to motive, isn't that where they're coming from? That if they give him Secret Service protection, they're actually acknowledging the relevancy of his candidacy. What do you guys think about that? Aaron, what do you think about that?
Yeah, that's 100% what it is. If they did this, and I think it's both. I'll blame the Republicans as equal. I mean, there's a committee in Congress about who gets Secret Service protection. Yeah. And the blame for this is an all-you-can-eat buffet from both parties, in my opinion. I mean, it's really sick, frankly, to put somebody's life in, particularly this person whose father is actually the one why this whole thing started during campaigns anyway. Mm-hmm. So there's like a sickness around that whole conversation, but it is really about saying, if they say, yes, we'll give you Secret Service protection, then it justifies that his campaign has traction, that he's polling better than everybody thinks he is. Which, that whole conversation is its own deal about how they're masking his performance in the polls by how they're weighting the polls, because it's primary season. So they're weighting the polls relative to the parties. They're not weighting polls relative to independents, which is its own piece of this. But if they do this, they're going to justify that the campaign is legit and that he's a legit candidate and that he's getting traction and that there's people out there that want to see him on the ballots. And then that justifies why all these ballot shenanigans that are going on outside of this, or like the one in Nevada today and the other things that are happening, this just allows them to say, if they gave him service, then all of those become arguments that domino and fall. And he's got a very heavy set of momentum behind him that all of a sudden changes this race completely. And I don't think either party wants that. I don't think Trump wants that. And I definitely know Biden doesn't want it either.
Jacqueline, is this an example of democracy under attack? What do you think?
Absolutely. It's coming from the people who keep screaming that, they're trying to save democracy and they're killing it. It's very Soviet. It feels very, very Soviet.
Let that word sink in, folks.
Yeah, it's because say that
as I said, we're truth seekers here. We're not. This is not. We're not here to just raise alarm bells for no reason. We're talking about what's actually happening behind the hallowed halls of these institutions. So yes, Jacqueline, I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
No, it's very real and it's scary. When Carter had run, Bobby's uncle Teddy had run against him, and before he even had officially announced, Carter gave him Secret Service protection, and he was challenging the incumbent. I mean, you got to give it to him. That's what should be done. I don't even think somebody should even get credit for that. That is just what should happen.
Decency, right?
Exactly. And then even Obama gave Trump Secret Service, and everyone. This is a new thing, and this is not even just about the candidate. It's also about the people in the crowds. It's also the people that are there. It's his family as well. And then there's that, the trauma of this, like Aaron said, this was created because his father was assassinated running as a candidate for president. So when he was assassinated, they created this protection for candidates based off of his own father's assassination. And while our current, president is in the Oval Office professing that he was inspired to become, go into a career of service and even become president because of Bobby's father, because of RFK, and has his own bust in the Oval Office behind his desk, right? But yet he doesn't have any decency to protect this man as a human being and the people that are his family and the people around him and us as supporters. It's very chilling. It's It's very chilling that we're at this place in history in our country.
Jen, this sounds like a desperate attempt to cling to power, almost like the end of democracy, the end of the two-party system, what they do when they start to resort to these, what you might call tyrannical measures. This is just one example of that. What do you think about that?
No, I absolutely agree. And not only the control and the power, something I see every day and hear and talk about, which is alarming, that he is the only person that's been denied in 55 years. And it almost feels like the average person doesn't know this or understand it. We all know because we are in this and involved. And I think a lot of people would feel as passionate about this as we do if they knew about it and these conversations were shared. It makes no sense as to why he's being denied this service, and especially the history of his family and why this was created. And I really think that he's bringing a new light and attention to a lot of different facets of a presidential run, which I find fascinating. And thankfully, we can continue to get this out there to people so they're more aware of really what's going on and the extreme power and control that is, taking place right now.
You guys saw the graphic I displayed before, right? Where, Donald Trump had protection 1 full year ahead of the election. We are now 225 days out from the election. We know that Bobby has had an infiltration in his own home. We know that an armed man appeared at a rally under some fictitious name and had to be apprehended. So this is real. And I think it was Jacqueline that said before that, it's not just the candidate, it's the potential for collateral damage. And the amazing thing, and this would get into some of the deeper discussion we'll have tonight about the character of Bobby Kennedy. He's been asked the question, are you fearful for your life? And his response is no, he's not, despite what's happened, the trauma of his father and his uncle. He's not fearful because of his deep faith and his belief in what he's doing, and that this is a much more noble purpose than what his life alone is about. That this is about a cause, this is about a democracy, about a people for him. And he will tell you, Bobby himself will tell you, that he is here as a servant to the people. That is a very different mindset to be brought to the presidency than anything we've been accustomed to in the past. And I would argue it's exactly the remedy that this country needs. We don't need presidents and congressmen and even local officials who are in it for the power or for the next step of their lives for a promotion. We need representatives in government who are working for the people, right? Isn't that what they're supposed to be doing?